Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hello, y'all. Hello. Apparently, we trying up some new things this morning. How's it going for everybody? Hold on, let me set myself up. Apparently, we are at the beginning of the bullshit. Apparently, we are at the beginning of the bullshit. 40 days and 40 nights. That's how long it took for the Democrats to cave. That's how long it took for all of this damage to be wrought. The damage was wrought, and it was almost for naught, because we needed the Democrats to stand up for. We needed the Democrats to be more of an asshole than the Republicans would be. This is what we needed them to be. We needed them to do better than what they normally would do. We needed them to hold the line. They had the American mandate to hold the line. They had Democrats hold the line, and they had other groups of people that said hold the line. Only when it became painful, only when someone decided that it was going to be painful, their softness came into play. And this is the problem that I have with Democrats. You're not playing, or you're not competing against a faction of people that care about what you care about. The Republicans don't care about what you care about. The Republicans don't care whether people starve, or whether they go without their benefits, or whether they have ACA or medical. They don't care about that. They told you before you shut down the government that they weren't going to give people Medicare. The Republicans said before this shutdown occurred that they weren't going to give the American people Medicare. They said that. They said that, and it was clear. And they stood right there. And they made it very clear that they weren't going to give you Medicare or Medicaid or anything. They weren't going to give you anything. And you guys caved. So we're going to listen to their press conference. The bullshit we're about to listen to. Let's go.
And those of us certainly participating in the Democratic caucus are 100% committed to working on the issue of the ACA premium tax credits and preserving access to health care for millions of Americans. The question before us is, how's the best way to get there? And it was our judgment, after 6 weeks, going on 7 weeks of this shutdown, that path wasn't working. The test was last week when the majority leader put forward a proposal that was pretty simple, straightforward, 1-year extension of the tax credits. It was met with universal opposition in the Republican caucus. It wasn't going to happen. So the question before us, before those of us here who decided to vote yes tonight. The question was, does the shutdown further the goal of achieving some needed support for the extension of the tax credits?
See, they just jump right out there and say, we the motherfuckers responsible. They just jump right out there and say, y'all just own the shit. Just say you the ones who did everything. That we did shit for nothing. That we did this for nothing. Just own it, right? They just saying it right out loud. Oh, well, we don't know. The Republicans got more balls than us. That's basically what he's saying. They got more balls than we do.
Our judgment was that it would not produce that result. And the evidence for that is almost 7 weeks of fruitless attempts to make that happen. Would it change in a week or another week?
Not to mention the fact that you have a president who is bragging about the fact that he want people to starve. Not to mention a president that doesn't want to pay out food stamps or give a damn about whether they eat, give a damn whether you got medical or not. They all despite that. And you had a mandate on Tuesday to do what needed to be done. And you guys still cowered. You still cowed. Even though you had a shitty ass president running around the country, going to court, refusing to pay for people's health, refusing to pay for people's food stamps. You had a shitty ass president running around the country saying, I'm not paying the food stamps, going to court, holding people accountable not to pay the food stamp, and you caved. You had a mandate on Tuesday, and you fucking caved. That's what you weak ass Democrats.
Or after Thanksgiving or Christmas, and there's no evidence that it would. What there is evidence of is the harm that the shutdown is doing to the country. What it's doing to millions of federal workers, but also what it's doing to tens of millions of recipients of SNAP. This is a true crisis for those individuals. Soup kitchens can't fill the gap. Food pantries can't fill the gap. SNAP is an essential part of the food food provision program in this country. And so we were faced with a strategy or a series of steps that wasn't working to achieve the goal we wanted with regard to the ACA, but it was at the same time creating hardship and difficulty for millions of people across this country. So I believe that we are closer tonight to a vote on the ACA tax credits than we were this morning.
See, now you know this is the bullshit right here, right? Ain't gonna mention nothing about the Republicans being fucking horrible human beings. Won't mention a goddamn thing about Republicans being shitty ass fucking legislators. That Republicans had no intention of backing down on anything. They don't want to mention. You notice that when they get up on here, see, I would go right at them. The Republicans are horrible human beings. They don't want to give you medical. They don't want to give you food stamps. Democrats don't want to get on TV and denigrate the Republicans. Republicans don't have no problem getting their ass on TV saying leftist, Marxist, Antifa, terrorist, baby killer. They don't have no problem getting on there saying that about Democrat. You notice you don't see no Democrat, ain't no Democrat getting on here denigrating not one shitty ass Republican. The Republicans are horrible, shitty ass legislators, shitty ass lawmakers, shitty ass human beings. But the Republicans will not denigrate them on TV. This is what I don't like about weak ass Republicans. I mean weak ass Democrats. They weak and effectless. They don't know how to fight. This is why we need progressive people in the Democratic Party, because we need fighters, and these people rolled over. Republicans rolled y'all over. They were going to roll y'all from jump, but you're weak.
Because part of this agreement, and you heard the majority leader on the floor today say he is committed to putting a bill on the floor before the second week in December that would be drafted by the Democrats concerning health care and the ACA. That is a big step, because otherwise there's no way for the minority to get a bill onto the floor of the U.S. Senate. It has to be through the office of the majority leader. So that was a major step to get the majority leader to agree to make that commitment tonight on the Senate floor. So the sum is we are closer to the possibility of work on the ACA tax credits for the people of this country than we were yesterday, and than we were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or a month ago. So
you're no closer to anything. You're no closer to anything. You just capitulated to all of the things. The only thing you have is a promise. You have a promise. The Republicans have lied before. The Republicans have lied before. And they're going to lie this time. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Senator Thune gave them the promise that he would hold a vote on Medicare, Medicaid, or ACA subsidies in December. He will hold a vote. Holding a vote is not the same as getting a guaranteed pass on the vote. Holding a vote means we get everybody in the room, and my Republican people are going to vote no, and we're the majority, and you guys are going to vote your yes, and you're the minority, which means the bill won't pass. So getting a promise that the majority Senate, the majority Senate person will put a bill on the floor is nothing, because he can put 10 bills on the floor. He has a majority of people in the Senate. They're going to vote no because they don't want to give people health care. They don't want to give people anything. They don't want to give them Medicare. So a promise of a freaking vote means nothing. We went 40 days and 40 nights playing chicken. We were playing chicken, and you guys weren't supposed to blink. Then you guys started getting calls from your constituents. Please come. We need our food stamps. We need all of that. We're fighting for the soul of this fucking country. We're fighting for the soul of this fucking democracy. And you weak, pathetic Democrats give in.
this agreement tonight is a win for the American people. And it's a win for those people that are so insistent, that I'm hearing from all the time, protect our health care. Our judgment is the best way to do that is to get a bill on the floor. Is there a guarantee it will pass? No. Is it a guarantee it will pass in the House? There is actually some very strong interest in the House.
The Republicans are so averse to giving Medicaid and Medicare and the ACA extension subsidies. They are so against that, they were willing to shut the House down. Willing to starve people, willing to not even have a conversation. They did not have a conversation with you weak Democrats. They did not even want to have a conversation. They did not even come to the table. Republicans said, we ain't talking to y'all, period. We ain't talking to y'all, period. This is something the weak-ass Democrats should have known. This is the bullshit that goofies run and tell the wrong story about. The real story is these Democrats should have known that the Republicans wasn't going to back down. They ain't never back down. They knew y'all were the weak party. The Republicans knew you guys were the weak motherfuckers. They knew you guys were going to blink. They weren't going to blink. The truth is, Republicans didn't even engage the Democrats in conversation. They didn't talk about no food stamp. They didn't talk about people being hungry. They didn't talk about people not losing their food stamps, their Medicare. The Republicans didn't give a damn whether you got your food stamps or got your Medicare at all. They didn't give a damn. And they would have went another 40 days. They didn't give a damn. They don't give a damn. Which means everybody's premium is going to go up. That's all on Republicans. And then you guys, the only reason why this is the worst part. These Democrats know that the Republicans are never going to agree to medical because the Republicans don't give a damn whether y'all have medical or not. You can die in the street for all they care. You can starve in the street for all they care. They don't care. Republicans never cared, and they never gonna care. All they concern themselves with is getting the rich people richer and to hell with the poor people. God only knows why the zombies keep following them down the same rabbit hole and voting for Republicans. I don't know why. It's a zombie thing that's going on. But we got the ones that aren't in the ones that are not in the loop, and we just not regular voters who keep abreast of this shit. We know the Republicans don't give a damn. We know. See, they can fool zombies, Republicans and Democrats. They can fool the zombies. They can't fool people who've been watching this shit for years. We know that the Republicans weren't going to blink. We were hoping that the Democrats didn't blink and give in. And what did they do? The weak-ass Republicans, weak-ass Democrats blunk. Is it blunk or blink? The weak-ass Democrats blinked, and here we are, 40 days and 40 nights, and we got nothing.
Possibility of a bipartisan bill and to get a discharge petition, and then perhaps we're on the way. And we have that expression from Republican senators who are interested in working on a bill that will deal with the ACA issue and perhaps additional health care issues at the same time. So what happened tonight is not the closing of a chapter, it's the opening of an opportunity. What the chapter it does close is the damaging shutdown that is only getting worse, that is only going to impact more and more people, and it's an opportunity for us to move forward on behalf of all of the people of this country on the issue of health care, but also on making the federal government function. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. At a time when families desperately need relief, Washington's dysfunction is making life harder for families.
And you know, the goofy part about this is Mike Johnson already said he ain't putting the bill on the floor. He said it's got to do with the senators. See, if they pass this bill with this clean CR like it is, it don't even have to go to the House. But I think it may have to go to the House, and there might be some adjustments. And if it has to go to the House, the good part about it is we may have to get that signature for the release of the Epstein files. They only need 218. I think they got 217. And that chick, Mike Johnson has to open up the House. If Mike Johnson has to open up the House in order for them to re-sign this bill or whatever, that one chick got to show up and get sworn in. They can release the Epstein files. And who knows? Oh, I got to report on the Epstein files after this. It's something else. Something else going on with the Epstein file. But let's continue. Let's continue with the dog and pony show. Oh, by the way, the 8 senators who caved, Dick Durbin, he's retiring. Janine Shaheen, she's retiring. Okay. John Fetterman, of course, the fake Democrat, he's not up for re-election. Him, John Fetterman, Maggie Hassan, they're not up until 2028. Their terms are not up until 2028. Then you got Tim Kaine, who just got reelected. Then you got Jackie Rosen, who just got reelected. And then you got Catherine Cortez Masto, who just got reelected. So, and August King, who just got reelected. So, none of these people who voted yes on this bill are in danger of doing anything, right? They're not in danger of doing anything. So therefore, this is all Schumer. Schumer arranged all of this garbage. These feckless, weakless Democrats.
And the last 39 days are proof of that. A record-long government shutdown paired with record-high health insurance cost increases is not the kind of history that the American people want Congress to make. Over the last several weeks, I've heard from Granite Staters who can't afford a doubling of their health insurance costs. I've also heard from families about the deep pain that the government shutdown has caused, made worse by a president who illegally and repeatedly chose to cut off help for families who are just trying to buy groceries. After weeks of bipartisan conversations, I voted today to reopen the government so that we can get back to the work of helping Granite Staters. This agreement funds SNAP and food assistance programs, ensures that law enforcement, air traffic controllers, and other federal workers get paid.
See, you don't need to remind us of who's needs to get paid. We already understand that. That was the calculated risk. We thought you all had already put that into the calculation. Some people were going to be hurt by it. A lot of people were going to be hurt by it. I thought you all put that into the calculation. See, they want us to believe that they didn't put it in the calculation. They did. The whole point was they didn't think they thought the Republicans were going to talk to them. The Republicans had 40 days to talk to them, and the Republicans refused to talk to them for 40 days. We completely understand. We just thought that the Democrats had bigger balls. That's all. We understand that the Republicans were horrible people. We understood that. Off the bat, we understood that completely. We just thought you all would be a little bit more horrible this time around. We thought you would hold the line. This all, what she's talking about, was already calculated into the pot.
Reverses the president's recent reckless layoffs and prevents them from happening in the future, and crucially, gives Congress a clear path forward to protecting people's health care. Our work to deliver relief for families now enters an important phase. Congress has 1 month to engage in serious bipartisan negotiations to extend the Affordable Care Act's expiring tax cuts that help people afford.
They're not going to go into serious discussion. What they're going to do is continue to bash ACA, the Obamacare. Why should we fund the Obamacare and it's shitty? Then, after you have the negotiation, they're going to take a vote. And the Republicans have never voted yes on any kind of medical decision, any kind of medical program ever. They've never voted yes on any medical program ever. So, for you all to hold out 40 days and 40 nights, and then he gives a promise to put a bill on the floor, just to put a bill on the floor, not to have a promise to get it passed, just to get, because he should have, Because if it was going to pass or he was going to let his people vote for it, he would have said, I'll let my people vote for it and let it go through. But he didn't say that. He said for a vote. Let me put the bill on the floor. Putting the bill on the floor just means everybody has a chance to vote what they want to vote, and my people are going to vote no, and you know my people are going to vote no. This is just a fucking dog and pony show for the American people. The Republicans are never going to give Medicaid, Medicare, ACA, or anything else back to the American people because they don't give a shit whether they have medical or not. This is just a fucking show, and the Democrats know it because they just lost.
Their health insurance. And let's be really clear, part of what has been happening is the time period to make that meaningful extension of these tax cuts has been dwindling. We are getting closer and closer to the time in which families have to decide whether they can buy their health insurance or not and enroll in health insurance in this coming year. So my Democratic colleagues and I have been ready to work on this issue, on extending these tax cuts for months. With the government reopening shortly, Senate Republicans now finally have to come to the table. Or, make no mistake, Americans will remember who stood in the way. So
this is what the Democrats are hoping. Oh, we voted for Medicare. We voted for your ACA, but the Republicans said no. The Republicans were always going to say no. They were always going to say no. And you have the Republicans are shitty human beings all the way around the board, but we know that. We know that the Republicans are shitty human beings. We know they're going to say no. She's saying, oh, the negotiations is coming close to time where people got to make decisions. Y'all, whoever is waiting on them to make a decision, you might as well go and make your decision right now. Because the Republicans ain't going to save you. Because the Republicans going to let you go down the drain. That's the kind of shitty human beings that they are in Washington.
I urge Speaker Johnson to finally return the House of Representatives into session and quickly reopen the government. And I urge all Americans in communities red, blue, and purple to continue to speak out about the importance of affordable health care so that families across America can get that critical care that they need. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie. Thank you. And I thank my colleagues for their good work. The vote tonight, and you've heard all of us talking about this, the vote tonight was crucial to open the government because too many Americans, hardworking individuals, seniors, children, were suffering. I know in Nevada, particularly that is based on a service industry, tourism and travel, we are doubly hit. Tariffs, bad policies of this administration, and the shutdown was having an impact on travel to our state and quite honestly across the country. But it wasn't just that. We have federal workers that were suffering. We have TSA agents. We have airport controllers. And we were seeing lines to our food banks in northern Nevada. These were lines that I hadn't seen since the pandemic. And the stories were horrific. Seniors in line, needing food.
And that's the problem with the Democrats. You're a weak administration. You know how it was planned. It was planned because the 8 Democrats that went along with this with the Republicans, they are not up for re-election. They've either gotten re-elected, they're about to retire, or they're not. They don't vote for them for a while. They don't get voted on for a while. So my thing is this: you all knew what was going on before it happened. You were in negotiation. There was no negotiation. The Republicans have never negotiated with you guys. The Republicans have never negotiated with you. They weren't ever going to negotiate with you. The Republicans were going to let people starve. The Republicans were going to let people go without food stamps, go without medical, go without any of those things. They didn't give a damn whether they people in the red states or blue states starve. They don't give a damn about them. They don't give a damn about the the MAGA people. They don't give a damn about them. And when this vote comes up in December, they ain't gonna vote for to keep your ACA payments down. They're not gonna vote to get you your Medicaid. They don't give a damn about whether y'all eat or whether you got Medicaid. They don't care one way or the other. They in cahoots with each other. These people standing up here on this damn podium, these Democrats know that the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House. They have the power to give you the medical and the food stamp. They don't want to. The Democrats were trying to force them to do it. The Democrats were trying to force them to do it. And the Republicans wouldn't talk to them at all and do anything. They had no intention of feeding you. The freaking Trump went to court 2 times to tell them he didn't want to pay you people food stamps. He went to court 2 times saying that they weren't going to pay food stamps, that they weren't going to do anything. This is how you know they don't care. They don't care one way or the other. They went to court 2 times to make sure that nobody got food stamp. Y'all didn't get no food. Whoever was getting food stamp wasn't getting food stamp. The Republicans don't care one way or the other. They never came to negotiate or talk to the Democrats at all. Ever, ever, ever. Democrats were waiting for them to come and say, hey, how do we negotiate? Democrats found out. No. We ain't talking to y'all. That's what the Republicans said on day 1. We're not talking to y'all because we ain't giving them medical and we ain't giving them food stamps. Now what you gonna do? That's exactly what the Republicans said. Shitty human beings all the way around because they don't give a damn about their constituents. Not one person. Neither does Donald.
Food because they couldn't get access to the food that they usually would get at the federal level. One man came and refused to say who he was because he was embarrassed and said I shouldn't be here, but he needed the food. Mothers coming to the food bank to get food for their children. My colleagues know that.
This is the sad part. The sad part is the Democrats know that the Republicans weren't going to give anybody any kind of food stamps anywhere or give them medical ACA anywhere. And they will not denigrate the Republicans. You notice any of you MAGA folks in the comment section, any of you MAGA folks in the chat. Do you notice that none of the Democrats said anything about Marxist, fascist, authoritarian, demagoguery, Antifa, Groypers? No, you notice that none of the Republicans are talking like that, calling any of the Republicans names. I just want you all to note that. I just want you to note that. And then later today, anytime today, why don't you tune into a Republican what is it called? Tune into a Republican presser and see how they called the Democrats leftists, Marxist terrorists, Antifas, all that. I just want to note to you all. You notice that you don't see one Democrat saying anything negative about anybody. Not calling them names, not calling them righties, not calling them Kuipers, not calling them anything. But you tune into a Republican presser and you definitely will see that. Yeah, like I do all the time. I'll do it in a minute, zombie.
That opening the government was key to stopping that pain. But here's the thing. We can open the government and we can still fight to address this looming healthcare crisis. It is true. Right now, in our states and across the country, Americans are seeing higher costs, higher premiums for their Affordable Care Act. These are people that need access to healthcare. I have families that rely on the Affordable Care Act and these subsidies so that their children who have a rare disease can access their medication. I have small businesses who rely on the Affordable Care Act and the subsidies to help cover the costs for their employees. This is a fight that the Republicans need to understand is not just happening in Nevada, it is happening across the country in every state, including those red states. This fight tonight is, I agree with Senator Angus, is just the beginning. This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this, with the government open.
There is no fight. There is no fight. This fight is over. Okay? This fight is over. They have a promise from Senator Thune to put a bill on the floor. Only a majority senator, the senior senator, can put a bill on the floor. That's Senator Thune. He puts a bill on the floor in December, and they're going to debate on the bill. And I guarantee you right now, I bet anybody $100 right now, they put a bill on the floor, the Republicans are going to denigrate they're going to browbeat and beat down ACA, beat down why they don't want to pay for any more ACA, why they don't want to pay for no more health care. I guarantee you, when they introduce the bill in December, like Senator Thune said he's going to do, they're going to do everything in their power not to give you all Medicaid, Medicare, or ACA. Because they don't want to. They don't care. They want you to pay for your private insurance, and they don't want to pay for anything. They want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of Medicaid and Medicare and ACA. And they don't give a damn whether you die in the street or not. That's where the Republicans are. They haven't moved from day one to day 40. She keeps saying, oh, this is when negotiation starts. The negotiation is over. You got to hold the Republicans hostage because that's what they're going to do. They're going to stand on big. They stand 10 toes down. That's the problem. People don't learn. People in Washington, Democrats in Washington, don't know how to stand 10 toes down. Republicans do. But not the weak ass Democrats. Weak ass Democrats fold because they folded last night. They folded for a promise to put a bill on the floor, and that bill gonna get on the floor, and then the majority whip is gonna put it up. Majority senators gonna put it on there, and then all the Republicans go vote nope, and you gonna have 53 no's, and then you gonna have the goofy Democrats 47 yeses. I guarantee you, I pay anybody $100 fucking that is gonna go just like that in December. So there's nothing to fight over. The Republicans don't want to give anybody Medicare or Medicaid. You're just going to die in the street without Medicare.
Open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026 that starts with a minibus that will restore funding that President Trump cut. It delivers millions of dollars in critical funding to states like Nevada all across the country. And it, you will hear, blocks the administration from future rifts. We have an opportunity also to put Republicans on the record on the ACA. Are they committed to doing this?
Yes, they are. They did it in July, dingbat in the red jacket. They cut Medicaid and Medicare and ACA in July. What do you mean are they willing to stand on it? They just made us go 40 days and 40 nights without giving you anything, and that's what was on the table. That's what I don't like, these weak-ass fucking Democrats. They folded, and they went, the Republicans stood 10 toes down, said, we ain't giving these people no medical. Donald Trump went to the court and said, I ain't giving these damn people no food stamp. It's wild.
Are they committed? Leader Thune said he would come to the table on a health care once the government was open, and now he must
Why
follow
is there only
through.
12 people
If
in the chat?
Republicans want to join us in low.
Why is there only 12 people in the chat, Sharon? Sharon, why is there only 12 people in the chat? I don't know. I ain't never streamed this early, so I wouldn't know.
Lowering costs for working families, they have the perfect opportunity to show the American public. I expect Republicans to be at the table in the next few weeks. I expect the White House to be at the table. And if they do choose not to come to the table, they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise. They will own the fact that Americans across this country are going to lose access to health care. We were elected in the Senate to work on real solutions that help working families. It's our responsibility to work not only here amongst ourselves, but across the aisle to solve these problems for the Americans, make their lives a little bit easier. And that's what we have done tonight.
So, hey, everybody, I'm the cleanup hitter because I joined this group I joined it 48 hours ago. Not for lack of interest. And I got to applaud Jeanne Shaheen and this group because they have been having open meetings that anybody could participate in on negotiation. But I had my hands full focused on the Virginia elections until Wednesday morning. And as soon as that was over, I have now engaged with a particular purpose in mind. I knew the Democratic appropriators led by Patty Murray were going to do the very best job they could to get these three appropriations bills queued up and moving forward. A bill, for example, that has very robust SNAP funding, very robust funding for the VA. I had confidence in that. And I had confidence in these guys that they were going to get the best possible deal they could get from Republicans on the ACA. We were in a situation where SNAP recipients were suffering, and there was no guarantee we would ever get to an ACA solution. Now we've got robust SNAP funding and a guaranteed vote, not a guaranteed outcome, but a guaranteed vote on ACA tax credits.
But you would have gotten food stamps regardless. The court had already said you all were going to release the food stamps. The court had already said that. So you did all of this for nothing. Because now you have a promise for a vote on health care, and we already know what that solution that outcome is going to be. Oh, man.
But I engaged on the issue that I've been talking about for a month on the floor to Senator Thune, Katie Britt, Lindsey Graham, James Lankford, anybody who had listened to me on the Republican side. I've said what I need in Virginia, with 320,000 federal employees who live in households that probably encompass nearly 650 or 700,000 residents in my state, I need a moratorium on mischief. My Virginians have been suffering under this administration. The shutdown started on January 20. I need a moratorium on the punishing of the federal workforce. That's what I need. And so I joined this group to make sure that we could get important protections for federal employees. And what we have in this bill is the restoration of all the furloughed employees and a guarantee of their back pay, the restoration of all RIFT employees who got RIFT after October 1 with all of their back pay, and a guarantee of no RIFs. No RIFs going forward. 2 million federal workers, not just my 300,000, 2 million federal workers who are not uniform military now have a guarantee of no RIFs going forward. So they don't have to go into the holiday season with anxiety about what's going to show up on their email one morning at 5:30 a.m. That's a big win for 2 million federal employees, and added together with these other ingredients of robust appropriations bills and a guaranteed path forward to vote on fixing the ACA, that made me sign on and say, yes, we can do it. I had a number of Republicans on the floor tonight that said, we were amazed that you got that no RIF guarantee.
So basically whatever they say they got right now is what they're going to get. They're not going to get anything more than what they got right now, because they're definitely not getting any medical, because the Republicans don't want to give them medical. It just is what it is. Oh, that's the sad part. It is what it is.
Guarantee in there. And I'm glad that we did, and we all worked so hard on it together, and I have huge respect for my colleagues who made this happen. Thanks.
Thank you. Yep.
You say you're fighting on the Affordable Care Act, but what do you say to your colleagues who say this isn't a fight, this is a capitulation? You're putting together, you're agreeing to a vote on a bill that it almost certainly will not become law, and you're allowing that to happen.
Well, first of all, there was, as long as the government shut down, the clear statement from Senator Thune and the Republican majority, and they control the Senate, the House, the White House, was we will not talk about health care with you. So there was no vote that we were going to get on the Affordable Care Act, premium tax credits. We have a guarantee.
Y'all ain't getting no vote. You gonna get a vote in December on the tax cut. You gonna get a vote, but it's gonna be the same outcome as not even having a vote. The Republicans aren't going to give you they're not going to sign on to medical. So it's a useless argument. It's a useless promise. That's what I don't understand. Most people understand it's a useless promise that the Republicans promised you guys a vote on the ACA. They're all going to say no. So there was no point in getting a promise that wasn't even going to do anything. But, we got to get them on record as saying they're not going to give people medical. It's already on record. They decided they were going to put it on record in July that they weren't going to give anybody medical. Just dumb. For no reason, Kay, for no reason.
Guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that we will write. Not that the Republicans will write, although I do think it's important for us to engage with them because we need a bipartisan bill that we know is going to get enacted to provide the relief that Americans need. And I think there's a commitment on the.
She already know it ain't gonna work. This is for the goofy people in the audience. This is for the slow people in the audience. Only the slow people believe that what she's saying. She said, it's a bill that we're gonna put together. We need to engage with them. You don't need to engage with the Republicans. The Republicans are fucking dragons. They're never gonna agree to it. It's just for show. All of this shit from here on out is for show. It's for the goofy people in the back. The rest of us understand. We didn't get jack shit, and we went 40 days and 40 nights without getting jack shit. I'm waiting for the midterms. Donald Trump, keep doing the goofy shit you're doing. Y'all keep running up the tab in the Senate. Y'all keep having hearings and doing all the bullshit that y'all doing because all of y'all are weak. Democrats are weak. The Republicans are dragons. And let Donald Trump keep fucking up like he been fucking up. I'm waiting for the midterms. Because this is useless right here.
Part of many of our colleagues to do that.
But there's no guarantee this will become law.
There was never a guarantee that it would become law.
Just to follow up on that, Senator, because we understand that this vote will happen, but a vote on extending the tax credits, it does not guarantee that it's going to happen. So how do you explain, though, to your constituents why it was worth it to put up this fight for so long when in the end you did not get your key demand?
Because it wasn't working. How long would it take to not get a response?
And there is the truth right there. It wasn't working. It wasn't going to work because the Republicans weren't going to back down. The whole point was we wanted you guys to have bigger balls. When you got the blue mandate on Tuesday night, we thought you all were going to keep those. We thought you had bigger balls. You were going to have bigger balls and stay the course. That's what we hoped. But as per usual, Republicans show you that they know how to play nasty better than y'all.
Response to say it isn't working. In other words, it's been 6 weeks. There's been the Republicans made it clear they weren't going to discuss the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act tax credits, until the shutdown was over. We tried to keep working that for 6 weeks. It didn't happen. The vote that we have, there's not a guarantee for sure. It's more of a guarantee. Here's the way I would put it. As I assessed it, there was zero chance of dealing with the ACA issue as long as the shutdown continued. Now, I don't know, 50-50, but there's a lot better chance now than there was this morning because nothing was happening and there was no evidence that another week or another 2 weeks or Thanksgiving or Christmas was suddenly the Republicans were to come to us and say, oh, we want to now talk about the ACA. If they weren't going to do it by now, what's going to change in the next 2 weeks that's going to make them do it? And that was really the assessment. Again, I would say, right, as of this morning, there was a 0 chance of having a work on the ACA. Now there's a measurable chance. Will it be everything that everybody wanted? No, because we need 60 votes. And so there's going to be a negotiation. But Republicans have already started saying, well, here, if you did this or did that, maybe we can get there. So I would take a reasonable chance against no chance every day. And the other piece is, we didn't really emphasize this, there are 3 important appropriations bills in this that would lock in SNAP for the rest of the year at a very substantial rate, plus other benefits. Veterans funding is guaranteed if we can get these 3 bills through. So there's a plus on that. And I think the odds are that we have a better chance of doing something about the ACA than we did not going into this. At some point, you have to decide, what is the best strategic step forward. And we believe that the evidence is that what we were doing wasn't working, and therefore, let's try something else.
And the real question is, why would a president of the United States pit hungry children against sick children?
Because he doesn't care. He doesn't care whether the poor people starve or have medical. They don't care one way or the other. That the Republicans already said that. They don't care one way or the other. That's what y'all don't. That's what y'all don't. They pushed you all sympathy button. They pushed you all sympathy button. They don't have a sympathy button. They care about the rich. That's all they care about. They don't care about regular, normal, everyday, average people. So you keep saying, why would a president not want to give people food? Why wouldn't the president want to help a sick person? Because he don't give a damn. And he never has. But for the goofies in the back, they believe it. So you got to say it. We up here in the front, we already understand what time it is. He don't give a damn about nobody except himself. And he wasn't going to give up no food. He went to court 2 times not to give people food stamps. They should have told the American people that he didn't give a damn.
And that is what President Trump has done. I mean, this is outrageous. We can't reach agreement on government funding, so the government shuts down. And even though the law is clear that he could fund SNAP benefits during a shutdown, he did not. And then he also said, and by the way, I don't really care if people's health insurance premiums get so high they can't afford their care. That's on Donald Trump. My vote today was to do 2 things, both equally morally important and imperative. One is to make sure that the government is functioning so that our kids eat, so that our elderly citizens eat, so that our air traffic controllers can get some sleep and earn money, get paid while they are working, so that our veterans are protected, and continue the fight to a realistic platform to get the premium tax cuts done.
They're not giving you the tax cut. They're not giving you anything. They're not giving you anything. You didn't win anything. They were hoping that you Democrats gave in because your heartstrings got pulled. That's what the point was. They wanted you Democrats to give in, and you weak ass Democrats gave in.
And if that is not successful, then shame on the Republican Party and shame on Donald Trump. But the American people will see who stands with them on health care and who does not.
You expect the American people to give a shit who didn't give them food stamps and who didn't give them medical? You're still going to have zombies in the chat. You're still going to have Republicans not even seeing that. They don't care. They don't care just like their leaders don't care. If you don't understand that the Republicans don't give a damn whether you eat food or not, we can't show you. This is the biggest display. So trying to show them later on ain't gonna do no good.
And that will be the platform of the next stage of the fight. I hope we can find bipartisan agreement on an extension of those premium tax credits. In New Hampshire, couples who are 60 years old or so, earning $85,000 a year, are seeing like a $15,000 increase in their.
I guarantee you, I can bet anybody any amount of money, and I guarantee you every last Republican is going to say, we ain't giving the American people medical. I guarantee you they not giving the American people medical. I can guarantee you that right now. It's a shitty even deal.
Insurance premiums. This has to get fixed. And we have about a month to do it before the harm gets to be irreparable. And again, if the Republicans can't come to the table and do something reasonable on this and make sure that people can afford their health care and that the whole private commercial market also doesn't see skyrocketing increases, then shame on them.
Senator,
Yeah.
what do you say to the millions of Americans who are already in the Obamacare exchanges, seeing premiums skyrocketed, who were hoping because of what you all said that they would get answers on what their premiums would be now, but have to wait weeks longer since you've decided to open the government without immediate action on the subsidies?
Well, as Senator Hassan said so well, the Republicans weren't providing any commitment or even a willingness to vote or a willingness to discuss extending the premium tax credits. We have the opportunity to do that now, and we will hold their feet to the fire.
What do you do?
So this is where we at. This is where we are at with the Republicans. Okay? They have no intention of giving medical or anything else to the American people. They have decided. The Democrats held out because they wanted us to get what we wanted to get. They wanted to give us that. But they didn't think the Republicans was going to hold they didn't think the Republicans was going to stand 10 toes down. And the Republicans stood 10 toes down and said, we ain't giving these people jack shit. That's exactly what the Republicans did. And they said that from the beginning. So I don't understand why they didn't understand. Why Democrats didn't understand. Okay. The Democrats gave a damn more than the Republicans did. That's for damn sure. The Republicans had no intention whatsoever of giving the American people jack shit. They said they weren't. And they meant that. Okay. So the problem is, what do you do about it? What are you going to do about it? So now we got another fight going on. We don't know what the hell is going on. Now we got another fight that's going on. This is going to happen in December. So in December, we're going to have people fighting to have a lie, some kind of bullshit lie that's going to go on. They going to play with us or play in our face about what they going to do to help us, even though they're not going to help us at all. Okay? So the whole point is you guys we got to do what we got to do, because they have no intention of helping us in any way, shape, or form. People got to do what they got to do. Hold on. I had this thing that I want to show y'all. Hold on. Let me show you, because Mike Johnson is about to come on the mic, and we finna see Mike Johnson make an excuse for why they gonna do X, Y, and Z. Okay. Jesus, come on. What the hell? Okay. Let's see this goofy shit. Hold on.
Rags about kicking people off of food stamps, but he acts like it's a great miracle and an incredibly auspicious accomplishment. This is terrifying.
In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off of food stamps, which is a record. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. Think of that. Almost 2 million American-born workers are employed today, more than when I took office. That's 9 months ago. Can you imagine that?
Dude, cutting off their food stamps isn't really lifting them. Lifting them would be going to some of these corporations that pay such shitty wages that despite being employed full time, you still need and qualify for food stamps, and saying to them, how about paying your employees a fair wage? That's lifting people off of food stamps, making it so that their standard of living without the food stamps is good, or at least passable. Just canceling food stamps is not a way to lift people. And by the way, I don't want to digress too much, but if you'll allow me, one of the aspects of this, with these MAGAs, there's always some big thing that's missing from the conversation. I'm going to give you an analogy. This is an example, one of my famous analogies. With the Epstein stuff, who are the perpetrators? Who's in the files? Who's going to vote one way to release or not release? Does Trump know Ghislaine Maxwell or doesn't he know? All this different stuff. What about the victims? What about Epstein's victims? The Epstein victims, who really should be at the center of this story, given especially the notoriety of some of the alleged victimizers. But the victims are basically missing. You know, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie did a press conference with some of them, and we're hoping to actually talk to a victim or two on the show. But the victims are sort of missing from the conversation. They're so important. With food stamps, all of this discussion about who qualifies, how much do you get? It's $2 per meal per day. The average benefit's a couple $100 a month. People are living large by having, popping out kids to get more food stamps. All of this nonsense. Fine. There's a debate. There's a discussion to be had about what should the limits be on food stamps, all of that. What about the fact that in one of the richest countries in the world, most of the people on food stamps work, and yet they still qualify for food stamps because their wages are not living wages? That is the missing piece that I'm going to make an effort. And to the extent that I haven't done it, I apologize. I throw myself at your mercy. We need to be reminding ourselves there are tons of people on food stamps working full time in jobs where the wages are so low that they still need the damn food stamps.
So I heard this lady finna get 10 to 15 years in prison for food stamp fraud. Apparently, they got proof of who is defrauding the system, and they coming to locking people up. So the ones that be on Facebook and Instagram and all that talk about how you got stamps and how you just did this and this, they're coming for you. Y'all really think that these people don't see where these food stamps is really going? You think they're just giving y'all food stamps and not keeping track? Boy, they finna do a sweep, just like for the PPP loans, just like them drops y'all was doing. A lot of people feel like just because the local police ain't catch them and, you feel me, they ain't went to jail yet, that ain't nothing gonna happen. Sometimes the government sit back and let you do 10 years worth of bad stuff and then bring that rap sheet to the state and say, yo, this is what we want. They've been doing this for 10 years. Give them 10 years. Y'all better tighten up. Y'all better tighten up. They cracking down.
Really bad. Danielle Grant is starving. You know, I'm trying to see if I can get some food because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So we're gonna try to make ends meet, and we can. Desperate for food, nowhere to go. Grant and many others got to the Hope Line today just to make an appointment to come back later in the week for food. Resources are slim, leaving 40% of Bronxites without money to feed themselves. Some still in shock. You heard things before, but it's like, they're not gonna let people starve. That's ridiculous, but it's like, no, that's literally like what's happening.
We hope the food pantries maintain open, because if they don't stay open, I really don't know what we're gonna do next.
We asked people their reaction to hearing that the Trump administration will partially fund the SNAP program. People say it's not going to do much. They have families to feed and already struggled at the end of every month when they were receiving the full amount.
Wow, not enough. At least there's something to hold on, but I think everybody's going to have to get a second job.
It doesn't really last the whole month. You know, probably like 2 or 3 weeks, and then by the last week you got to scramble to find, things.
This couple has 4 kids. The mom says pantries aren't always reliable.
They have limited supply, or by the time we get to the front of the line, then it's really nothing there. So it's hard.
She says she's holding on to faith. Meanwhile, others are worried hunger will drive crime rates up. We don't know how much money will be reloaded onto people's cards and when that will be. In Longwood, Lindsay Tanny.
Today, the Trump administration told states to immediately undo any actions to provide food stamps. What are you hearing from organizers there and from people looking for food to feed themselves and their families?
There's a lot of frustration here today. We're at Bethel Original Church in Decatur, Georgia. This is the Food to Life organization providing all kinds of food for people here at the church and around the community. Fresh produce like apples and pineapple and cucumbers and avocado. Amazing amount of food for the people who need it most right now. But some say it may not be enough, as these SNAP benefits have now, they've gone without their SNAP benefits for more than a month. A lot of frustration, but you have a community willing to help. Take a listen.
This helps, it helps us a lot. It may not be much, but it helps. Anything helps. You're down to your last loaf of bread. You're down to, the last box of cereal or no cereal at all. Or you have to go to the grocery store with the little bit of money you do have and figure out, am I going to get milk or am I going to get cereal? Am I going to get bread? Am I going to get eggs? When you have a family, it's hard.
42 million people receive SNAP benefits around the country. Here in Georgia, a little more than 1 million. And now that we're more than a month in, we're really starting to see the struggle. As you just heard, people having to make some really tough decisions and really stretch these groceries thin while they hope and pray that these SNAP benefits take effect soon.
Food stamps. I got my food stamps, baby. My food stamps are on my card. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. Whoa! Watch out! Watch out! Yeah. 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 Get your shoes out. Yeah.
That's some wild shit. I ain't never seen no shit like that. I said, what the hell am I watching? What the hell am I watching? Here we go. Hold on.
Fed up on fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up on fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up on fed up, check up on.
We need to discuss what happened yesterday in Texas. I made a video yesterday when I got in my car after I left the polling location, and I was visibly frustrated because I said the wording on some of those propositions was misleading. There was no context behind a lot of things. But also, I don't live in Harris County. I live outside of Houston in Fort Bend County. So the demographics that I see at my polling locations consistently are going to be vastly different than the ones that you would see within the city limits, right? In Harris County. You guys, the boomers, Gen X, they're tearing us up. They're tearing us up. We're not showing up to vote. I do not think that I saw a large amount of millennial or Gen Z at all. And I think the only reason, I think I saw a couple of Gen Z yesterday because their parents dragged them there. Yes, they were with their parents. Like Gen Z, you guys aren't that young anymore. You guys can make decisions. You guys are adults now. Your parents shouldn't have to drag you anywhere to vote. I'm glad that you did go vote, but it's also very scary to see nothing but people that probably would be dead within the next.
Yes, we at Sam's doing the shopping haul. So y'all come along with us and let's get some stuff out of Sam's. I'm really just gonna be a very short video, just a little tic-tac, boom, bam, you feel me? But yeah, y'all, let's get into it.
They got some animal crackers for $8.98, so we just gonna grab one of these.
So yeah, my kids like Nutrigrain bars, so they for about 30 seeds for $9.98. So we're gonna grab that. We're gonna put it on. So yeah, we already started shopping. So we got some chips, some blow pop for the kids, some little bites, some hot chips, some fruit snacks, some Gushers, some powdered donuts, oatmeal pies, some honey buns, and yeah. So let's get it. Cinnamon crunch here. A box of 2 bags for 49 ounces for $7.98. So we're gonna grab one of those, and they got Frosted Flakes for $7.88. And we're gonna grab one of those. Let's go down to season aisle. So at Sam's, I come here and I get the big old seasoning salt. So I'm gonna grab one of those, and it is for $6.68, which is a good price. And yeah, let's see what else we need. So yeah, that's what we're gonna grab from the season aisle. That's the only thing I'm gonna get out of here. They got some olive oil for $11.48, so we're gonna grab one of these. Yeah, yellow rice, and they got it for $5.78, so we're gonna grab one of those. Like I said, the video is not gonna be long. It's gonna be a short video. So we're gonna grab this pack right here for $7.98. It's actually on sale. Easter saving $1. So we're gonna grab one of these with 2 ketchup, mustard, and sweet relish. Get some of this ranch right here for $12.48, and that's the Healing Valley for $12.48, 2 packs. Yeah. So they got the Velveeta macaroni and cheese, shell macaroni and cheese for $14.98. I usually don't buy these, but I ran out of macaroni and cheese, and I went to my sister's house and got this. And she had it, and it tastes pretty good, so I'm gonna grab a case of those. The twins like the ravioli, so we're gonna grab 2 cases of those for the twins. So they got spaghetti noodles, $5.48 for 6 packs of spaghetti noodles. So we're gonna go with those. Some of this regular spaghetti sauce, we're gonna grab one of these. It's a 3-pack for $8.98. So yeah, that's a steal. People grab one of these mashed potatoes. I don't know how much it is quite yet. I'm gonna grab 2 boxes of these because we go through mashed potato like it ain't nothing. And we're gonna get 2 cases of these. I don't know how much it is, but we're gonna get 2. We're gonna get a case of these green beans. It's gonna be 8 cans in a pack. So we're gonna get 2 of these. I'm gonna grab one of the serving for $6.78. So we're gonna get one of those. $6.78. We're gonna get one of these. From just the marshmallow y'all for $7.98. So yeah, so I'm gonna get a box of those. So we're gonna grab a box of Fruit Pebbles for $6.48. And a box of Fruit Loops, $8.58. Captain Crunch Berry for $5.98. Liquor Trump for $7.88. We're gonna grab 1 box of each. So we're gonna for the Go-Gurt, the kids love these. And the peaches, they right there together. So we're gonna get a box of those for $10.98. And we're gonna get the Go-Gurts for $15.98. We're gonna get 1 of each, y'all. We're gonna get these tarts for $9.98. It's your girl Quay. And yeah, let's cook these kids some breakfast. We're gonna cook some buttermilk waffles, some French toast sticks, blueberry waffles, and I'm gonna do some Roger Wood sausages. So yeah. Y'all, gently cook me. I'm gonna go with some. Walmart, Piggly Wiggly. Basically everywhere, honestly. Kroger's. Yeah. Get one for your egg, straight to jail. They'll make me drink some breakfast. Kelly is on Walmart tonight. They said, buy 5, get 1 free, I ain't going straight to jail. I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm not gonna hold you up, baby. Your ass going to jail. You gotta go, you're going straight to jail. Going to somebody, buy 5, get 1 free. What you doing, self-checkout? Girl, let me know. Everything I was free, you go to self-checkout, you'll stand out. They trusting you to scan everything.
merited for you to become part of the system. People love to say just work harder, but they don't realize how expensive it is to be poor. But what they don't see is the stress, the debt, the skipped meals, the jobs that don't pay you enough to live. Food stamps aren't a handout. They're quite literally a method of survival. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm well aware of the life that I was given. It's not always fair. We don't always start at the same line. And I plan on being the last motherfucker in my bloodline that ever needs this fucking card.
So I got some groceries. Thank you guys. My babies got their milk and they got their Huggies, and I got them to get some dinner for a few nights. Thank y'all so much. Everybody, so all my supporters, the people that really support me, the people that really know my journey and where I'm trying to head. I love y'all, and my kids are thankful. Look at Papa Boy. Hi, Papa Man. Say hi. Say thank you. They waiting on their bottles, okay? Period. Sorry, I got. Anyway, we love y'all. Thank y'all for keeping up with me.
Y'all ain't hearing me. They cut my food stamps. I ain't paying for none of this shit. I got babies at home that gotta eat. You think I'm just gonna leave my cart here? Hell no. I ain't paying nothing. I'm walking out with it. Try and stop me.
They said the government's stopping EBT in November. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Get a job? I deserve my stamps. I've been getting them for years. They expect me to work while raising all these kids? Nah, that ain't right.
Ma'am, stop right there. Put your hands on the car.
I'm not stealing. The president said I could have this food.
Ma'am, step away from the exit.
Y'all are harassing me for groceries. I didn't ring a thing up because it's free now.
That's not how it works. Turn around, place your hands behind your back.
No, you can't do this.
Cuffing.
My kids have not eaten 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
Trump done cut them food stamps off.
If you're poor, don't have kids, okay? If you're struggling, don't have kids. Don't bring more.
Now that EBT isn't paying, have you considered getting a job?
I ain't finna get a job. That's what your taxes is for. Now I'm gonna have to steal twice as much.
Hey, that's mine. Hey, EBT got these folks acting crazy.
Come on, give it back.
Pussy hoe, come up, look. Get on your knees, let me put a cow up in your throat. Pussy hoe, let me see you drop it to the floor. I'm real freak, I'm finna jump off the fucking door.
Make decisions about things that are going to be going on in the next 20, 30, 40 years. I'm frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to New York for doing what they had to do last night. Shout out to California for doing what they had to do last night. But Texas, once again, oh my God. And this is solely not everyone's fault. The way that they have worded these propositions, the way that they word these things on these ballots. I am smart. I am very smart. I'm actually, sometimes it gets me into trouble. And I love to research things. And I brought a cheat sheet with me to the polls. I was in the booth having to reread things multiple times because I said, wait a minute, this also doesn't provide context on anything. Texans low-key just voted to defund schooling. We are already progressively falling off into being one of the most uneducated.
Why would I be mad? I'd be mad. HQ, you was just mad they did not give out food stamps. Why are you mad? Why would I need to be mad because they didn't give out food stamps? I didn't need to be mad because they didn't give out food stamps. There was a choice that the president made. The president made a choice not to give out the food stamp. He decided y'all didn't need to eat. Y'all don't need to eat. Shit, you can eat dirt. That's what he said. Y'all eat dirt.
It's the first time I've ever voted. I've been registered to vote for 20 years. I'm 40. This is the first time I've been ever inundated with politics like this. It's the first time I've ever felt fear for my future or my children's future. And I hope that this helps get us to the right future. I'm scared of what will happen if Kamala Harris is the president. I'm constantly barely making ends meet. I was doing so well.
Why y'all be coming on here with this bullshit? You ain't funny. She the comedy girl. She the comedy girl. But here's my thing. They don't want to give up. The whole point is they caved last night. The House caved. People caved. They are not giving ACA. The food stamps are still going to be released without any concessions. We just did a 40-day and 40-night for nothing. Okay, so they're going to be back in session. They have to, the last person they were waiting on to sign the bill, and maybe he came and he signed it, was, signed cloture, finished it out, was Cornyn. And Cornyn, he arrived in Dulles Airport last night. So hopefully he made it there, and then they had their 60 signatures. So you should be happy they got to eat. Why wouldn't I be happy that they wouldn't? That don't make sense, Herb Gillespie. You need to you crashing out. You crashing out. You just came over here and start crashing out. I don't have no idea what you're screaming about. You're screaming about something I have no clue about. The Senate will be back in session at 11 o'clock. Okay. They will be back at 11 o'clock, and I will be in session with them at 11. No, I'm not coming back for session with them. I'm coming back because I have, I have another thing I want to present to everybody. Let me see. Something about the Epstein files. That's right. That's right. Give me a minute. I'll be back because I gotta what I gotta put this together. I gotta figure out how to take this dual thing off. So once I figure that out, I will be back because I have some more information regarding the Epstein files, and maybe we might get lucky and get to see the Epstein files sooner than we think. But it is what it is. You all hit the like button, share button. This is all we could do today. We just wanted to report what happened, what went on. They caved. It's over. People are supposed to get their food, do all those things, and nobody's getting any medical because the medical is all the way out the door. So that means nothing. So I will see you all in a little bit. Hit the like button, hit the share button, do all those